We are hearing SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM. We heard now Parikshit Maharaj is asking Shukadev Goswami to go on speaking about Supreme Lord's pastimes. So we heard, please also explain how, merged in the body of the Lord, living beings are created and how the infidels appear in the world. Also, please explain how the unconditioned living entities exist. There are two types. Some are Nitya Mukta, some are Nitya Bada. Nitya Mukta is unconditioned. Bada is conditioned. So those who are conditioned living entities, averse to Krishna, they have to rotate in this world. They are created in the sense that their karma, according to their karma, they are getting body. And again, they are merged in like this creation, dissolution, all this. But there are some living entities who are beyond this material world. They are unconditioned. So how they are living, he wants to know. Yathatma tantro bhagavan vikrirati atma maya visrijyavayata mayam udaste shakshivad vibhu. The independent personality of Godhead enjoys his pastimes by his internal potency, and at the time of annihilation gives them up to the external potency, and he remains a witness to it all when he appears in this world. Sarvam etat cha bhagavan prichato me nupurvashah tattvator hasi udahartum prapanaya mahamune. O great sage, representative of the Lord, kindly satisfy my inquisitiveness in all that I have inquired from you, and all that I may not have inquired from you from the very beginning of my questionings. Since I am a soul surrendered unto you, please impart full knowledge in this connection. In commentary, Sai Maharaj telling, the spiritual master is always prepared to impart knowledge to the disciple, and specifically when the disciple is very inquisitive. Inquisitiveness on the part of a disciple is greatly necessary for the progressive disciple. Maharaj Parikshit is a typical disciple because he is perfectly inquisitive. But here there is a difference I experienced with our Gurudev, and also Srila Sridhar Maharaj will find in recordings, and Sai Maharaj will explain here. Someone only wants to get some intellectual stimulation, so he is curious to know something, or really he is interested to know about Supreme Lord and how he can serve him. These are two different things. So, if first one, then Guru will not be inclined to speak. But if he is sincere, he wants service of Krishna, then Guru will always be ready. So here, if one is not very inquisitive about self-realization, one need not approach a spiritual master simply to make a show of discipleship. Spiritual master will give spiritual knowledge. We should not go to him to gather some intellectual knowledge, even of Shastra or like this. But inclination to serve must be there. There was one case, in one example in our mat in Calcutta. One person started to come to our mat and was hearing Harikatha. Was not initiated, but daily coming to hear Harikatha. And he did not miss one day, and very attentively he was hearing. So all were thinking he's a very nice devotee. He's so interested to hear Harikatha. So for 7 months like this, every day, did not miss one Harikatha and very attentively hearing. Then after 7 months, suddenly he stopped coming. Then all were surprised and they noticed, where is he? He was here every day. What happened now? Did he die? Or maybe he moved to some other place or what happened? They did not know. So our Gurudev that time, perhaps Brahmachari, he was then, he went to market, and one day, by chance, he met him there. And he asked him, oh, you are here. We thought you died or you moved to some other city. He said, no, I am okay. Then he said, then Gurudev asked, then why you are not coming to hear Harikatha? Every day you were coming. Then he said, because already I heard everything. What you are saying, I heard everything. You are only saying we are eternal servant of Krishna. You have to chant Harinam. So I heard. If you will say something new, then I can come. But otherwise, I already heard. So Gurudev understood that he was coming to get some knowledge. Not inclined to serve actually Krishna, but to get intellectual stimulation. And then he will go to another place and there he will hear and like this what they have to say, what they are thinking, all this. So such type of inquisitiveness or curiosity is not the same as here Sai Maharaj is telling, very inquisitive about self-realization. Not only intellectual something. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj, they were asking him many questions. Then he said, I am not an inquiry office where you go and you inquire there on the counter. I am not there. So in order to quench our material intellectual curiosity, we should not approach spiritual master simply to make a show of discipleship. That is not real discipleship. And that is why pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. With this mood we have to approach with surrender and inquisitiveness about eternal welfare and with serving attitude. Also, it happened in Govardhan. One devotee came and he was in front of our Gurudev. Then he asked Gurudev, you please tell me what is my Siddha Deha, my spiritual form, perfected spiritual form. Then Gurudev, because he's realized soul, he immediately understood what is going on. He said, this is not some intellectual knowledge, like some theoretical thing. When that self-effulgent divine knowledge, means Supreme Lord, Gurudev quoted that verse from Bhagavad Gita, when one is enlightened by the knowledge by which ignorance is destroyed, then his knowledge will reveal everything as sun lights up everything during daytime. Gurudev said this is not intellectual knowledge, theoretical something. When Supreme Lord will appear like a sun, then he will reveal himself and also everything else in relation to him in proper perspective. So that time you will see yourself, real self, and you will see real self of all others. First, Gurudev told him this, but still he was not satisfied and he was pushing more. And he was a little impatient also, I saw. And he said, no, Maharaj, you have to tell me, I want to know. Then Gurudev looked him more into his eyes, means into his soul. Then he told him, when you will want that, you will get it. Because Gurudev is a realized soul, this touched his heart and he could understand that he only came to Gurudev to quench some his curiosity, not actually to get the service of Supreme Lord. Because that Siddha Deha, that is service body, transcendental spiritual service body. So those who are inclined to serve Krishna, they can realize. But this person was not coming to get the service of Bhagavan or surrender, because then that is automatically revealed. He only was curious, oh, I am this gopi, I am this cowherd boy, or I am this, so then I can know. But that is not, Gurudev told him, this is not theoretical intellectual. When you will want that, means when you will want the service of Krishna, actually service of Krishna, then you will get that. Bhaktivinoda Thakur said there in that song, Siddha Deho Diya Brindavana Sebamrita Koradhan. Oh Radha Krishna, please give me the nectar of your service in Vrindavan. So if someone is sincere in this desire, then he can get, not otherwise. So here Parikshit Maharaj is really inquisitive, spiritual inquisitiveness, not material. So here further, not only is Maharaj Parikshit inquisitive concerning all he has inquired about, but he is also anxious to know about what he has not been able to inquire. Factually, it is not possible for a man to inquire about everything from the spiritual master, but the bona fide spiritual master is able to enlighten the disciple in every way for the disciple's benefit. So those who have inclination to serve, not only material knowledge, curiosity. Even someone may make a show of, like, he's very interested in transcendental knowledge. He will read all Shastras and all these things, or hear, as that person was hearing Harikatha, but for intellectual purpose, not for the purpose of serving Krishna. And that in that intellectually you cannot get any actual spiritual taste. That is why that person in Calcutta, he felt bored after. Already I heard everything. So when you will say something new, then I can come. Some new thing. You are all the time repeating same thing. Means he did not get the taste of Harikatha, transcendental taste, because if someone with service inclined ears he will hear, then he can experience that transcendental bliss at every time. He will not think this is something old, so it became tasteless, so you say something new. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was hearing Dhruva Prahlad Charit 100 times from Gadadhar Pandit Goswami. Again and again he wanted to hear, and Narad Goswami, he is always chanting same mantra and always getting new taste. Pratipadam Purnamrita Svadanam. That is why in that verse also, Nayam Atma Pravachanena Labhyo Na Medhaya Na Bahuna Shrutena. One cannot attain Paramatma by giving lectures, by intelligence, not even by much shrutena, means hearing Shastra. Not possible. Jam evaisa vrinute tena labhyas, taseisa atma vrinute tanum svam. One whom Paramatma will choose to reveal himself, he can attain Paramatma. And whom Paramatma will choose, next verse says, one who is surrendered to Paramatma. To him he will reveal. So surrender is the main point. So even someone may like read all Shastra, but he will not get. If there is no service inclination. Atra pramanam hi bhavan parameshti yatatmabhu apare chanutishtanti purvesham purva jai kritam. O great sage, you are as good as Brahma, the original living being. Others follow custom only, as followed by the previous philosophical speculators. Intelligent persons, mundane philosophers, being imperfect in themselves, disagree with other philosophers because a mundane philosopher is not a philosopher at all unless he presents his own theory. Intelligent persons like Maharaj Parikshit do not recognize such mental speculators, however great they may be. But hear from the authorities like Shukadev Goswami, who is not different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead by the Parampara system, as is specially stressed in the Bhagavad Gita. It happened there in maybe Dhaka University or somewhere. Our Gurudev was telling that in one university, Gauriya Math preachers, they were invited to speak Harikatha. And then some other Sanskrit scholars from the department, they said they don't know Sanskrit nicely. They are pronouncing wrongly shlokas and this. So better you engage us for the students. So then they were engaged, those Sanskrit scholars, and they gave very perfect that pronunciation of Sanskrit and so many shlokas and like this. But students, ordinary students themselves, they complained then to Dean, why you engage them? Yes, externally they are nicely reciting shlokas and like this, but there is no life there. When we were hearing from Gauriya Math sannyasis, then there is some life there. And we are getting some transcendental touch is there. We are feeling something. Because they are practicing what they are speaking. But they are only speaking some Sanskrit things. So we don't like to hear them. There is no life there. It is boring. So then again they had to invite Gauriya Math preachers, means practicing devotees. Devotion will give satisfaction to others. Not mental speculation or even Sanskrit or recitation of Vedas or like this. Surrendered soul is necessary. Name savah parayanti brahman anashanat ami pivato chuta piyusham tadvakya apati vinishritam. O learned Brahmana, because of my drinking the nectar of the message of the infallible personality of Godhead, which is flowing down from the ocean of your speeches, I do not feel any sort of exhaustion due to my fasting. This is proper hearing. He is getting the nectar. He's getting that nectar because he's receiving with service inclined, and Shukadev Goswami is also a bona fide speaker. He's speaking for the satisfaction of Krishna, and Parikshit Maharaj is hearing for the satisfaction of Krishna. So Shukadev Goswami is getting transcendental nectar, Parikshit Maharaj is getting transcendental nectar, and because of that he has no any material difficulties, anything, because he's on that transcendental platform. Suta Uvach Sa upamantrito ragya katayam iti satpate brahmarato brisham prito vishnuratena samsadi. Suta Goswami said, thus Shukadev Goswami, being invited by Maharaj Parikshit to speak on topics of the Lord Shri Krishna with the devotees, was very much pleased. Praha Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahma Samitam Brahmane Bhagavat Proktam Brahma Kalpa Upagate. He began to reply to the inquiries of Maharaj Parikshit by saying that the science of the personality of Godhead was spoken first by the Lord himself to Brahma when he was first born. SRIMAD Bhagavatam is the supplementary Vedic literature, and it is just in pursuance of the Vedas. Fifth Veda. Puranas are supplementary. They are giving same knowledge as four Vedas, but in different format, more explicit, more easy to understand through stories and through this. But in Bhagavatam, not only like stories, there is also real description of transcendental lila. We should not think those are also some stories to give some teaching. No, they're a fact. So, four Vedas and Upanishad and Vedanta, they are more difficult. So Vyasadeva, in order to, for others also, he presented Mahabharata, within it Gita and Puranas, and Bhagavatam is the best of all, and it is best of all Shastras, and it is quintessence. Whatever is there, knowledge in other Shastras written before is also in Bhagavatam. Everything is in Bhagavatam. You cannot find something somewhere else which is not in Bhagavatam. It is everything is in Bhagavatam, but in essential way it is presented, and of course Lila is manifested. You will not find in Upanishad or Vedanta Sutra any Lila Katha, or that there is only Brahma and they are coming out and this, but no Lila Katha. It is mentioned like in Chandogya Upanishad, that after Jiva is liberated, will play with Brahma, his supreme. But how and what, and this is not mentioned. It means expressed. It is there for one who will surrender, then he can realize. But in Bhagavatam you will find how Bhagavan is doing his lila with his associates. Yat Yat Parikshit Rishabah Pandunam Anu Prichati Anu Purvyena Tat Sarvam Akyatum Upachakrame. He also prepared himself to reply to all that King Parikshit had inquired from him. Maharaj Parikshit was the best in the dynasty of the Pandus, and thus he was able to ask the right questions from the right person. This is the end of this chapter. Next one, chapter 9, answers by citing the Lord's version. Shri Shuka Uvach Atma Mayam Rite Rajan Parasyanu Bhavatmana Na Ghatetartha Sambandha Swapna Drashtur Ivanjasa. Shri Shukadev Goswami said, O king, unless one is influenced by the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there is no meaning to the relationship of the pure soul in pure consciousness with the material body. That relationship is just like a dreamer's seeing his own body working. In dream, we see this. Outside you can see yourself. So like that, Atma is different from material body. So when you are misidentified, that is no meaning. Only when one is influenced by the energy of the personality of Godhead, then one is in real self. And he can act in relation to Supreme Lord, means directly serving. That is meaningful. But this mic is like a dream. And all is temporary. All relationship is temporary. All happiness, so-called happiness, is also temporary and it cannot fulfill. It is outside of you. Everything is going on like in dream. So those who realize the souls, they are not living in this dream. And they come to wake us up from that bad dream. It is bad dream, it's only suffering. And we have to wake up and realize our real identity in relation to Krishna and act from that relationship. Then that is real life and blissful. Bahurupa iva bhati mayaya bahurupaya Rama mano guneshwasya mamaham iti manyate. The illusioned living entity appears in so many forms offered by the external energy of the Lord. While enjoying in the modes of material nature, the encaged living entity misconceives, thinking in terms of I and mine. I am this body and these things are mine. And I am independent, I can do things. So that is illusion. One who is realized soul, he knows nothing is mine. Even I, myself, is not mine. I belong to Krishna and I cannot do anything independent of him. So this is false ego, I and mine. Yarhi vava mahimni sve parasmin kala mayo rameta gata samohas tyaktvo daste tado bhayam. As soon as the living entity becomes situated in his constitutional glory and begins to enjoy the transcendence beyond time and material energy, he at once gives up the two misconceptions of life, I and mine, and thus becomes fully manifested as the pure self. Sai Maharaj, in one place, he said, yes, it is true that life is about enjoyment, but you don't know how to enjoy actually. We think, conditioned living entities, we think why these restrictions, all this. Life is about enjoyment. So let me smoke, let me drink, let me have sex in the park or everywhere. So life is about enjoyment, unrestricted enjoyment. Why? But the point is, Sai Maharaj said, yes, it is about enjoyment, but you don't know how to enjoy. Here it is mentioned that when he is in constitutional glory and begins to enjoy the transcendence, that is real life, real enjoyment. Getting one drop of that, you will forget about this. This is diseased condition. And if someone thinks this worldly pleasure is good, our Gurudev told, that proves the severity of the disease. Very severe. Because Bhaktivinoda Thakur in one his song, Bhalo nahi lage e sangsar. I don't see, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is singing, Ore mon, Bhalo nahi lage e sangsar. Oh my mind, I do not see this worldly, this existence as something good, because I see death, old age, disease, non-eternal relations. Now we are related, my wife, my father, my daughter, my son, my brother, my friend, all these. For the time being, these relationships are there, but after some time everything will be finished. And mixed happiness and all. He's describing there the picture of this world if you see it unbiasedly, without prejudice, and boldly you are seeing the facts. Then Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, I do not find this world existence good. And also those who try it very much by thinking that the goal of life is sense enjoyment, you see their history. They got big positions and they were enjoying it, but ultimately they also meet death and they repent. So I don't like this word. So Gurudev told me, if you think this worldly enjoyment is good, it shows the severity of the diseased condition. Because healthy condition, proper condition is Jiva should be in the service of Krishna, then enjoying real transcendental bliss constantly, eternally. This is diseased. So if I think this disease condition is good, it's very much disease. Nowadays you will find in society, if someone is not inclined to enjoy without any restriction, they will think he is a mad person. He has to be treated by a psychiatrist or something, because he's mad. He does not know what life is for. So this is Kali Yuga, so degraded. You will be considered mad. if you don't want to unrestrictedly enjoy, even at the cost of harming others. No problem, but you have to enjoy without any barrier, without any limit. So then so much fighting is going on for this. So he thus becomes fully manifested as the pure self. Atma Tattva Vishuddhyartham Yat Aha Bhagavan Ritam Brahmane Darshayan Rupam Avyalika Vrata Drita. O King, the personality of Godhead, being very much pleased with Lord Brahma because of his non-deceptive penance in Bhakti Yoga, presented his eternal and transcendental form before Brahma. And that is the objective goal for purifying the conditioned soul. Non-deceptive penance in Bhakti Yoga. Avyalika. This avyalika in Sanskrit, non-deceptive, without any deceptive motive. We may make a show, I am serving Krishna, but I am not trying to satisfy him. I want something else. I want appreciation from others, respect, or money, or something. So that is deceptive devotion. It is not actual devotion. But because Brahma was doing non-deceptive penance, he got darshan. Our Gurudev told many times, you say from the core of your heart, sincerely you say, I don't want money, I don't want non-eternal material relations, I don't want this scholarship, this knowledge or artistical qualifications or that talent, or like, I don't want anything. Even I don't want liberation. I only want your service, birth after birth. Gurudev said, if someone will sincerely have this desire, immediately Bhagavan will be revealed to him, immediately, without any delay. So if I am not getting darshan of Bhagavan, it means I am not having that desire. I have some other desires. Maybe we are not aware of, they are subconscious, but it proves by the fruit you can know the tree. If there is fruit, you can know that tree. So our Gurudev told, someone came to me and he said, Maharaj, I'm chanting so many rounds of Harinam, but I have so much tension, so much suffering, all this. Then Gurudev said, it proves you are not chanting Harinam. Otherwise, how this is possible? We are not chanting properly, actually, with surrender and for him. We have some other desires. Then we are tasting those other anarthas, like that bee, she's licking the glass of honey, thinking she's getting honey, but not getting honey, only tasting glass. Like that, if we have some other desires, we are tasting our anarthas, not Krishna Nam. So this is the proof. Or like Gajendra, he sincerely prayed. That is why Bhagavan came to rescue him. And he's equal to all. Our Gurudev told, you are saying, Bhagavan, he blessed Dhruva, he blessed Prahlad, he blessed Gajendra, but he's not blessing me. That is not fair. We say, no, don't blame Bhagavan. You don't want him. That is the point. You have to see in your heart. And generally we cannot see. But if some realized soul is in front of you and he is very merciful, then in the light of that sun, then you can see yourself. Really you have so many desires inside. So we cannot deceive Bhagavan or Guru. They see everything. But there are also stages. Rupa Goswami told that one will not be able to immediately taste Krishna's transcendental sweetness because of that barrier of ignorance. Like one person who has jaundice, he has pitta everywhere. That is bile, that is bitter. So that is why his skin is also yellow. I got once in Calcutta that jaundice, so then your skin, everything is yellow because of bile going everywhere and liver not working, cannot digest that, because that virus, hepatitis B, or it is A, I forgot, one of those, your liver is finished, so cannot digest, and that bile is going everywhere. So then you are tasting bitter. Anything, but because you have bitterness. So there is a difference. Rupa Goswami told you will not be able to immediately taste because of this bilelessness, but if someone is surrendered soul, sincerely he is trying to serve Krishna, then according to that degree of purification, he will also taste something. Gradually he will come to fully pure stage. Like in that verse in Bhagavatam, if one will take one morsel of food, up to that degree he will be satisfied and fed, and his hunger pain will be removed. Like that, how much one will engage himself in the service sincerely, up to that degree he will get realization of Krishna and devotion to him, and also detachment from Maya, up to that degree. But if someone has totally no sincerity, then he will only taste anarthas. So here, Brahma, he did non-deceptive penance. Sincerely, he was doing sadhana, and as a fruit, he got darshan of Supreme Lord. Everyone will get. There in Vedanta Sutra, this topic is there. You said that whom Bhagavan will choose, to him he will reveal. So is he just choosing like randomly? No. In next verse it is said that he is choosing the one who surrenders to him. So whoever will surrender to him, Bhagavan will choose. He will reveal himself to him. So we cannot blame Bhagavan. We have to see whether really I want or not. Sa Adidevo Jagatam Paro Guru Swadishnyam Astaya Sisriksha Yaikshata Tam Nadya Gacha Drisham Atra Samatam Prapancha Nirmana Vidir Yaya Bhavet. Lord Brahma, the first spiritual master, supreme in the universe, could not trace out the source of his lotus seed, and while thinking of creating the material world, he could not understand the proper direction for such creative work, nor could he find out the process for such creation. Sa chintayan dvyaksharam ekadam vasi upashrino dvir gaditam vacho vibhuh sparsheshu yat shorasham ekavimsham nishkinchananam nripayadhanam viduh. While thus engaged in thinking in the water, Brahmaji heard twice from nearby two syllables joined together. One of the syllables was taken from the 16th and the other from the 21st of the Sparsha alphabets, and both joined to become the wealth of the renounced order of life. What was that? Here in commentary. In Sanskrit language, the consonant alphabets are divided into two divisions, namely the Sparsha Varnas and Talavya Varnas. From Ka to Ma, the letters are known as the Sparsha Varnas, and the 16th of the group is called Ta, whereas the 21st letter is called Pa. So when they are joined together, the word tapa or penance is constructed. This penance is the beauty and wealth of the Brahmanas and the renounced order of life. According to Bhagavata philosophy, every human being is meant simply for this tapa and for no other business, because by penance only can one realize his self, and self-realization, not sense gratification, is the business of human life. That is why you will find in Rupa Goswami's Upadeshamrita, that is actually Mahaprabhu teaching. He told in Puri, Rupa Goswami wrote down, you have to control your tongue for taste, and atyahara, overeating, and all this. This is meant to be practiced. It is not meant only to hear. Yes, I heard Upadeshamrita already. Now you speak something new. Upadeshamrita means it has to be practiced. Atyahara prayasascha prajalpa niyamagraha prajalpa, all the time speaking nonsense. Wasting time. No time for chanting, but time for speaking all the time. Everything. But we complain, no, I have no time to chant. But we find time to speak nonsense all the time and to hear nonsense and to read nonsense or everything. So it means not serious to practice service of Krishna, not realizing that this human life is meant for this, to get spiritual realization, to come out from this Maya. We think to increase our enjoyment in Maya, this is the purpose of life. Atyahara, there Prabhupada explained, if you will eat too much and improper and with enjoyment, all this, then also you will get so many diseases, and with that disease condition, it will be difficult for you to concentrate, because we are not liberated soul, to concentrate on Krishna bhajan. So we have to be careful what we are doing. Target is service of Krishna. Target is not sense enjoyment. That is already in other species of life, animals and others. Human life is meant for tapa, for penance. You have to restrict your enjoying spirit only as much as is necessary for the upkeep of your body. We heard before, Sutta Goswami taught, only for survival and that you are healthy, that much you have to accept, not more than less, with the target to be able to serve Krishna. But we lose this target. So we can waste whole day time without worshipping Krishna. But there are some serious sadhakas, they're very particular about their sadhana. So they're very careful about their eating, about their sleeping, and they are not wasting time, because all the time they are thinking about their sadhana. They have to do service of Krishna. Tapa, penance. You have to restrict. You cannot just be unrestricted enjoyment like this. Then you cannot do bhajan. And if we will not do bhajan, we cannot come out from this. And again, we will have to rot in this material world, and all the time suffering. There may be some enjoyment for some time, but then reaction will come, suffering and all this. So you have to totally come out. That is why our Gurudev told us, you have to first, you have to read Shikastaka. Because there Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is encouraging and explaining that you have to practice Nam Bhajan, chanting of holy name, and how you have to do it. It's practical. And secondly, you have to read Upadeshamrita, because there also practical instructions are there. So if one will follow these two, then he will get transcendental bliss. There is no need of having so much knowledge and so much Shastra and all this, so many things, if there is no practice. But if there is practice, proper practice of Harinam and all which is favorable for Harinam, if this practice is there, then you will get everything, you will get Supreme Lord. But we are not inclined to practice, only enjoyment. So that is misfortune. We need sadhu sangha to inspire us to serve Krishna. So tomorrow we'll hear further.